Hi, you guys. I'm so excited for this training. You have absolutely no idea because we're going to go through some of the key astrological placements and human design that is going to make your inner work so much easier to connect with these stored emotions that you might not have a word for. You may not be able to identify how you feel. You just experience the repercussions of them in your body, with your health, or with your sabotage, with your lack of follow through. It's like it gives so much perspective to the feelings that we have that we don't know why we're not able to achieve our goal. And then it's also going to, of course, help the reasons you do know that you're struggling. So, this perspective has been so enlightening for me, and I'm really excited to share it with you so that you can get results even faster and more sustainably because you're going to use your energy as a framework versus just like a diet that you're doing for 4 months. And then when it's over, you're like, and how do I live my life now? What am I supposed to do? So there are a bunch of slides in here that are an overview of what you are most likely going to be experiencing with some of these placements. And in each section of these trainings, you also have a link to a Google Doc where you're going to make a copy of it. You cannot edit it. It's just if you want to edit it, you'll have to copy and paste it into a new document. But it is an in-depth of all of the placements, all the information that you need about your astrology and your human design within the context of the PHAT life, not the entire astrology and human design. So how this is designed is so that you know what your key astrological placements are, your Lilith, your Chiron, and your North Star, and that you know your key human design placements of your energy type, your profile, and your authority. So that way, when we coach together, if you're on one-on-one with in Telegram Monday through Thursday and your every other week call, or if you're in the group container where we have our platform, which the one-on-one gets the platform, and if you're in the group and you have our weekly call, which the one-on-one also gets to come to the weekly call, then I can really coach you through some stuff. And like you did on the previous video, hopefully you already did it, where you looked up all of your placements that I want us to have on paper. So the video where you pulled up the placements that I told you to access, like your Mercury, your Venus, that's for us to like be a little bit more in depth when we're in our coaching container. But the ones that are in this video are like the key ones that are really going to help us unpack the frozen childhood emotions that are keeping you stuck with the Lilith and the Chiron placement. And then also really taking a look at your energy, your profile, and your authority to make finding a lifestyle of healthy eating and exercise that works for you. So I'm so excited about this. You guys have no idea. So, okay, let's jump in. Okay, so this is what we're going to be going over today. So, the first thing that I want you to know is that we're thinking about this as archetypal intelligence. We are in the age of AI, artificial intelligence and archetypal intelligence. Both have shadow and light. They are both useful in so many ways. So, the archetypal energy is primordial energy. It is the first energy. And as you know, I like to think about things in code that there is a masculine energy and there is a feminine energy. And we experience them through our thoughts and feelings. And the more we can look at thoughts and feelings as masculine and feminine energetically, then it becomes so much easier for our minds to comprehend that we are legitimately balancing our energy so that we can manifest whatever it is that we want. So when we're looking at these placements, we're actually looking at our archetypal, our first energy, our primordial energy that is the foundation of everything that exists, that is uniquely within us, and that is uniquely expressed through our own human experiences, as well as through our genealogy with our ancestors. Okay, so the first one that we're going to jump into is the Lilith archetype. And this is the untamed, unapologetic feminine force. And you can read the slide. I'm not going to read everything word for word. But what I really want you to capture is that this placement to me, when I applied it for myself, I really realized, oh my gosh, all the ways that I was afraid of being too much, too loud, too weird, too outside the box, grasping for straws, making weird conclusions that are just made up in my head. They don't make any sense. When I saw my Lilith placement, I was like, of course, this makes sense for how I feel about religion. Some of like a particular boyfriend I had in my 20s that because my Lilith placement has to do with religion and spirituality, it makes perfect sense for the breakup that I had with this person who he himself, I think, was in an identity crisis of being like a party animal with a certain group of friends. And then, prim and proper with another group of friends at church. And when he broke up with me, he said we were unequally yoked. And there is a parable in the Bible talking about how you have to have two oxen that are equally yoked, that the yoke that goes on their neck has to be equally balanced to pull the plow. And so a lot of people would say you have to be equally yoked in a partnership. And the context of this statement was that because I asked so many questions about the Bible, I was not equally yoked in my faith with him, and that's how he broke up with me. So that's just like an example of like how this astrology really shows up in our life. So I'm really excited to share this with you because I'm hoping that you're going to be able to really reclaim yourself in all of your glorious womanhood, and really in reclaiming ourselves and our glorious womanhood really allows us to step into the smoke show hot body, because this is about magnetism. And if there are parts of you that are unclaimed, that you are rejecting, you're not going to be able to change your energy if there are parts of your very own self that you are rejecting. Okay. So this is an overview of the elements. We have two slides for this where you're looking at the fire sign placements and the water sign placements. So this is your slide if you are an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius in your Lilith placement based on the video that you did earlier, or if you are a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. So I am a Sagittarius placement for my Lilith. My core wound, the core wound of our fire signs being silenced passion, fear of being too much. The disempowered expression is anger, outburst, self-sabotage, and fear of standing out. And the empowered reframe, embodying raw confidence, taking up space, becoming fearlessly magnetic. So I think what is the best thing for me to do is actually just share from personal experience, especially because my profile in human design is a 6-2, which is leading by example. So what I want to share with you about this is that the fear of standing out in terms of the body, I used to smash my breasts down. I used to wear a sports bra that made me look flat chested. I used to not do my hair and my makeup completely going to the gym because I was afraid it was going to be too much. I still don't necessarily wear low cut cleavage things because boobs just really aren't my thing, but butt is. So like if you see me on the internet, half my butt is usually hanging out in my dance classes. And that actually goes into the empowered reframe that I started going to dance classes. February 16th, I believe, was my very first class in general, especially with my favorite dance teacher who I only go to now with Melissa. And that has given me the freedom to take up space and wear sexy clothes and, be in front of an audience, because we take turns being the audience and being the performer and get used to having eyes on us and being congratulated for our body, no matter what condition it's in, no matter how well we do in the performance. And so that's just an example of how I'm living it. And then, of course, being the unapologetic trailblazer, I'm talking about we're doing self-healing through aesthetics, because if we claim what we want, we're going to get hot, but we're also going to have to unpack these ways that we are rejecting and disowning parts of ourself. So be sure, if you're a water sign or a fire sign, this is your slide, and then go look at it in-depthly in the Word document, because there is more information in there. If you are an earth sign, a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, if you are an air sign, a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, take a look here. This is very exciting. If you're a Capricorn, I'll say this, Pluto has left Capricorn, and so you might be feeling a breath of fresh air, and this might be easier for you to access. If you're a Virgo, we're in the south node of Virgo right now. If you're watching this in all of 2025 and most of 2026, and so you may be able to access this inner work even easier. If you're Gemini or Aquarius, oh my gosh, we have the revolutionary transits in Gemini and Aquarius. And so for you, this actually might be quite painful because these energies are expanding and contracting, and a lot might be coming up for you. And that's okay. You just get to accelerate your inner work. Okay, so the houses in the zodiac allow us to balance the energy, and you're going to see that in another sign. And so when we're looking at where our Lilith placement is, we can really look at how we can embody a new identity for ourselves. My Sagittarius is in the 8th house. So the archetype is the alchemical goddess. And it's like, of course, right? Because I'm doing emotional work, which is in former years and centuries was called alchemy. And so it makes perfect sense that that would be my archetype for my Sagittarius or for my Lilith placement. Okay, so this is how your Lilith is going to help you become magnetic. Obviously, we're doing shadow work. It's also called inner child work, where we're really identifying your repressed power and integrating it. So when you do the inner child integrations and the meditation, and you're really connecting with these aspects of yourself, you're going to be able to remember the times that you were told too much, be quiet, sit down, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too tall, you're too short. All the ways that we have not fit into a societal box, particularly with the patriarchy. And I love me some men. I love men. I want a polarized, strong dynamic with a man with strong leadership, provision. I want to be able to be held. I want to be able to be vulnerable. I want to be supported. I want a rock behind me as I grow myself and I grow my business, since my business has to do with building the next society. So when I mention the patriarchy, I am in no way bashing men. What I am saying, though, is that the system of the patriarchy has disowned and disempowered the feminine, the matriarchy. And we definitely want to have a balance there. And so we're really going to be able to integrate our feminine energy through this work. The sensory embodiment, like I said, I do dance. I really love being sultry with Melissa's classes. Like, so anything that you can do where you can actually feel good in your body, whether you're doing it in a class or whether you're doing it, by yourself, that you're really going to want to be able to do that. Like, really get in touch with your body and what feels good. And it could also be through exercise, yoga, Pilates, lifting weights, anything that feels good. But you do definitely want to tap into how you can feel sensual as a woman and sexual as a woman too. The magnetic confidence, walking, speaking, and showing up as an undeniable presence. We have to do this. You have to embody this version of yourself for your body to change. The fantasy that you have of your dream body giving you the ability to walk and speak and show up with presence, that fantasy is fantastic, but you have to be that now. You have to be that within your inner self now, so that when you do have the body of your dreams, you can own it. Because the worst thing that happens is women will reach their goal, or they reach their goal and they can't sustain it because they are not that person, or they reach the goal and they have not changed their inner landscape, and so the body is actually unfulfilling. And when the body is unfulfilling after we've reached the goal, what's the use of keeping up with the habits that got us there? So then we start to eat unhealthy, or we stop being committed to the workouts that got us into that shape. So you really want to be this person now. So I'd like you to think about what your Lilith is. Like I said, my Lilith is Sagittarius. And so I just pulled from the Word document that you have access to. The untamed wanderer transcends cultural or religious shame, living in full-bodied freedom. The 8th house, the alchemical goddess, true power lies in embracing transformation and depth. The magnetism tip, own your erotic and mysterious energy. I'm like, should I go there? Let's go there. So embracing transformation and depth. This is something that was the deepness. This is, you're too dramatic. Why do you have to make a big deal out of it? Why can't you just get over it? And I'm not going to get over the patriarchy separating feminine energy from our knowingness of how we are connected and how we are God, how being connected to God, God the Father, God the Mother, symbologically, as well as just the polarized energy of positive and negative charges. Yes, I am furious that this is how humanity has been living for centuries and centuries. So no, I'm not just going to get over it. You know what I mean? And then that goes into my inner child wounding. Why can't you just get over what happened when you were 3? Why can't you just get over what happened with your dad? Why can't you just move on? Because I'm deep. You know, it took me a while to get there, but the depth of my knowledge is going into the PHAT life. And you have in your hands a complete system of changing your aesthetics and your health and changing your energy, your magnetism, which is going to lead into changing your life and all of humanity, which means the next civilization. So yes, it's deep. Um, Owning your erotic and mysterious energy, I'll go here too. I have gotten feedback from people that like they don't really know what to make of me because in some ways I'm very conservative and reserved, and then other ways, like with my body, I'm like flip, like totally out there. Like most of the guys at the gym, if they look at my Instagram, they've seen me basically naked. You know what I mean? And then at the gym, a lot of times I'm covered up and I'm not wearing short shorts and I'm not wearing just shorts and a sports bra, which I've done. But my point is, it's like, what am I doing? Right? Like, this is very mysterious that there's going to be different aspects of me where I'm really exposed physically because in that context, I'm like, oh, it's just a body. But then I'm going to be more reserved if it's like, am I letting you into my energy? So this really gives us a way to own all the dynamics, all the facets of what we are. Now, Chiron is really cool. When I found out about Chiron, I was bawling my eyes out that my Chiron has to do with the body and money. And I was like, oh my God, how can I be in fitness? And my Chiron, I'm always going to be wounded in my body. This doesn't make sense. Oh my God, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm always going to be broke. No, 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 no. Remember when I said the archetypal intelligence, the artificial intelligence all has shadow and light. There is all the polarized energy of good and bad because it is all one unit within the energy, within God. So with Chiron, I'm actually going to show you the empowered way to look at this archetype so that you can use this as a cornerstone for you to do your inner work. So Chiron, being the wounded healer, he was the legend, the mythology is that he was training the Greek gods of the pantheon, and he was actually fatally wounded. But since he can't die, he didn't die. He just had a painful wound. Long story short, he was relieved of his misery and put into a constellation in the sky. And we use the Chiron archetype to really look at our core wound. And when I realized this, I thought, wow, this makes so much sense for how my repressed emotions have manifested physically in my body. And why I'm injured all the time, why I had 2 cervical disc injuries, why I have a reverse curve in my thoracic spine and my cervical spine. That means the vertebra go forward instead of the curve that they're supposed to have. Why my thoracic spine has scoliosis, why I just tore my ACL, why I have lower GI inflammation and have to eat in a certain type of way to not be buckled over in pain in my large intestine. So it really helps us make sense of some of the issues that we're dealing with. But I got to tell you, what I have had to do with my eating and my exercise around these wounds, my Chiron wounds, you guys, I'm hot. I look so good. Like my shoulders, my waist, my butt, they are all the way they are because on a foundational level, those were the things I had to do to not be in physical pain. And so now that I have this torn ACL and I want to dance, now I'm getting better at dance and my butt is getting even bigger and rounder and fuller. And even my arches and my feet are lifting because of the types of exercises I'm doing to build strength around my knee so I don't have to have surgery. So I'm sharing this with you because your wounds become what make you so beautiful and so magnetic. And so you're really going to be able to see that. And this is really helpful with the repressed emotions, the ones that we cannot identify, but we just experience. So, Chiron and the signs, this is through the elements again. So we're just giving the overarching view of fire signs, earth signs, air, and water. And then you can look at the Word document so that you can go a little bit more in depthly with this information. So we got Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We have Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries for the revolutionary transits that are going to change humanity. And so you may be feeling this very much, which means it might be really painful right now, but what also means is that you can really accelerate and grow and lay a really strong foundation for yourself, your legacy, and for all of humanity. If you are Capricorn, like I said about Pluto with Lilith, you might be feeling a sigh of relief that this is actually going to be easier for you to do because Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, is no longer with you. Pluto, I have all four of the cardinal signs in my chart. And so 16 years, Pluto has been wreaking havoc, death and rebirth over and over again for 16 years in multiple areas of my life. And so for me, I definitely feel a sigh of relief that and the intuition that the PHAT life is finally coming together as a complete system because I'm now through the death and rebirth with Pluto in a lot of these cardinal signs. So if you have Capricorn, you might be feeling this is going to be easier for you. If you are in Virgo, you might be feeling like, oh my God, like this is a lot because the North Node, the South Node for all of humanity, for the entire Earth in all of 2025 and most of 2026 is Virgo, where we're really able to let go of perfectionism, but we're also able to really birth something because Virgo is the virgin, and the virgin birth symbologically is that it is our own consciousness that births a new reality. So you might be really enjoying this placement or this time right now also. Okay, if you're an air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, Gemini, Uranus is moving into Gemini in March of 2024 or March of 2025. And so this might be a lot for you because Gemini is the doors of the universe, all the information. And so we're really going to be able to see some changes within duality, yes, but then also with just a plethora of information. So strap in, honey. You're going to have a lot to be able to, you're going to have a lot to work with, which isn't a bad thing. You've got a lot of options. And then if you are Aquarius, Pluto is an Aquarius. This is the 20 years that we're foundationally building the next society. And so you're going to have a really great time creating yourself as the oracle. Like, I mean, oh God, like how cool is that? If you're Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, this is really cool too. Cancer is a cardinal sign, so you might be feeling some relief that Pluto isn't there with you anymore. Pisces is the North Node for all of 2025 and most of 2026, and this is where we are going. And Neptune is moving out of Pisces, which is the end of illusion. So for you, you might be like, boom, 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 making realization after realization of these core wounds. And so this is going to be really fantastic for you to move through. Okay, so the houses, like I said before, these have a lot to do with how you can transmute this power, how you can alchemize it. And so we have little archetypal names that there is in-depth information in the Word document. My Chiron is in the second house, and so this has to do with self-worth, money, and sensuality. And then your Chiron magnetism formula, how you become magnetic, is that we are going to unlock your magnetism. This is your glow up. You're going to integrate the wounds that make you irresistible. People are drawn to healed energy. And I definitely know this with the relationships that I have now. Post healing on the other side of doing really deep inner work, the relationships that I have feel so good. And I really didn't think that I was ever going to have relationships like this. And even though in my natal chart, I have a stellium of planets, I have more than 3 planets in the 7th house, which is relationships. And when I saw that I had all these planets there with relationships and I felt so disconnected from everyone, I was like, this does not make sense. Like, why don't I feel good with this placement? Well, because I had a lot of old energy that I hadn't processed yet. And so now being on the other side, I have such a great great relationships. And so you're going to see that in whatever areas of your chart are like really full and like really what you're here to experience in this lifetime. Your roadmap to your body and your energy work, physical practices to embody healing, movement, breath work, sensuality practices. So you have your workout program, you have your breath work with brain and heart coherency breathing. Go to a dance class, go do something sensual where you can really feel your feminine body. And then mindset shifts that rewire self-perception, that's included in this program as well, with the mindset work that comes with the inner child programs or the inner child modules. And then tapping into your Chiron for manifestation, healing the wound increases your manifestation power. And the more healed you are, the easier it is to attract love, abundance, and vitality. You've heard it, hurt people hurt people. So when you are no longer hurting, you are going to be so magnetic and you're not going to be lashing out and you're not going to be sabotaging all of your effort. So that's really something to look forward to. So what's your Chiron? You're going to be able to put this into a slide that I'm going to have you screenshot. Mine is Taurus, the magnetic manifester. Yeah, because I'm a manifesting generator also in human design. Reclaiming pleasure, deep trust, and body wisdom, learning to receive nourishment. The second house, the sensual sovereign, empowerment, becoming abundant and sensual as fuck, healing through pleasure, knowing your worth. Your presence commands luxury, ease, opulence. When you trust your worth, and abundance flows effortlessly. So I've definitely been experiencing that. And you've probably heard me say that I have a mantra: when I move, you move, the Ludacris song. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's what the eating and exercise habits are. That if in our mind we are, I want this, whatever it is that we want to experience, well, we have to act in alignment with thoughts and feelings. So then I was like, okay, wait a minute. If this is all collaborative, if I am God, because there is no separation in this connection of God, because God is the ultimate and supreme reality. If that's true, right? This is my Sagittarius, my Lilith and Sagittarius in the 8th house around spirituality. If that's true, then if I want certain things beyond my body, but I also want to be smoke show hot. If I act in alignment with my desires for my smoke show hot dream body, with eating and exercise, if I act in alignment just with those two things for the outcome of the dream body, I am also building the energy and building the magnetism and building the self-trust within this experience of being able to create our own reality, that the universe is going to move my other things that I want beyond my body every time I make a move for my body. And it has worked because I have gotten intuitive hits to do something. And when I make a move, then all of a sudden the universe comes in and gives me an even bigger, better, more complete opportunity to fulfill my dreams. And I'm like, this is so easy. So all I have to do is focus on aligning my energy to get happy, healthy, and hot, get smoke show hot, and I can also manifest my dreams. Perfect. So you're going to experience that too. Okay. So I want to share this with you. This I copy and pasted from Allie, the Cosmic Space Witch. She puts this on her YouTube videos. I absolutely love her because her knowledge is so in depth with the archetypal energy that goes way beyond any type of astrology that you would read in a magazine or pop culture articles whatsoever. And so what she says is the houses are in opposition and they will balance each other. So this is how it works. If you have seen any of my posts online where I would talk about the wheel of life, I would say, okay, if we're feeling resistance and frustration to measuring macros and we don't want to do it, it's not the macros that are the issue, because there are people all around the world that feel very comfortable and actually feel good measuring their macros. Measuring actually makes them feel free. So when I thought about that, I was like, oh, well, frustration around macros is actually just frustration in me. And because I'm focused on the macros, because I'm attached to the outcome, which is my dream body, that's why I'm frustrated with macros. So where else in my life am I frustrated? And where else in my life can I work on frustration so that when it comes to doing macros, I'm not so frustrated. I have less resistance. So I was using that example a lot and using the wheel of life. But when I heard Allie say this, I was like, this is way easier to just use it as a code of oppositional energy instead of us having to figure out like where we can go do it, which obviously you can go and do it no problem. Like if you think about another area, like for me, frustration would show up in my bookkeeping. So I'm very diligent with my binder where I have the months organized for the whole year. I have a scratch piece of paper that I staple all my receipts to. I punch holes in all of my bills so that when it comes time to do my taxes, I have every single month organized. It's so easy to just get things done. So that's just a really small example of where I cleared up frustration in another area of my life because I wanted to have less resistance with the macros. So you can definitely do that in areas of your life that you automatically feel some of these inner child emotions that you can identify to help release some of the resistance to your dream body. And then also when you're doing this astrology stuff, you could also recognize like, oh my God, yeah, like this Lilith thing, this Chiron thing. I see this emotion. I recognize this feeling in me. Where else is it in my life beyond my eating and my exercise habits? And you could do that stuff there. But in the context of using your astrology as just a very simple binary code, remember, like it's masculine, feminine energy. Here we have 12 houses, which the six work together oppositionally. So if I'm thinking about my Chiron in my second house, the house of possessions, money, and values. Okay, well, if I'm too close to that subject where I'm not able to work on these emotions, well, I can go look at my eighth house, death, rebirth, and transformation. And that's going to like loosen up the energy around manifesting money, around fulfilling and living by my values, the things that we're fulfilling from our voids of childhood. So perfect. So what do I feel about death, rebirth, and transformation? I can use that my Lilith placement for that. And then ironically, my Lilith placement is in the eighth house and it complements my Chiron. So it's like where can I really look at how I feel about inner alchemy and spirituality so that I can manifest with my Chiron magnetism? And where can I create value for people or create value or live within the values of myself of how I feel about spirituality and the balance of patriarchy and matriarchy? And so this really just gives us more of an objective experience to the inner work. North node as your soul's glow up a blueprint. So your north node is the destiny that your soul wanted to go to in this lifetime. So this really gives us a great, fantastic context to understand why we had certain things happen to us so that we can alchemize them, so that we can heal them and grow into wisdom and become whatever it is that our north node is slated to be. My north node is in Cancer and my south node is in Capricorn. And this just made so much sense to me, reflecting on myself and all my experiences where I'm like, oh my gosh, smashing the breasts down, not wanting to look super feminine, being in a business that's predominantly men, lifting weights, being really strong, being really strategic, program design, having a guaranteed outcome of how you program weightlifting to lift a certain amount of weight in a period of 4 months. Like it made sense. And so now with my north node in Cancer, where I'm like, oh, like, how can I be more feminine? How can I be more nurturing? It really gives me a really clear framework to where if something's not quite right, like if my body's kind of feeling wonky or something's not working where I don't feel like I'm in my genius state, I'm not in my flow state, I'm like, how am I being Capricorn? How can I embrace more of my Cancer? And so then that allows us to really move through whatever it is that we're going through with our intuition or like when things are coming up so that we have more context to our triggers. Okay, so when we unlock this north node with the elements, we've got the fire signs on this page. There's a lot of information. There's even more information in the Word document, not overwhelmingly wise, but like just a little bit more so that you have a little bit more context specifically for you. So if your north node is an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, I've already talked about Aries, that we have planets moving into it. So you may feel more dynamic. It might be a little bit more difficult. And but that's okay, right? Like it's you have more, you're like you're in a placement to where you can really unlock stuff because we have these big transits happening. And the biggest thing that you want to see is that you're going from self-doubt and playing small to being fearless, bold, and magnetic in your leadership. And this is also self-leadership, that you can actually have some boundaries for yourself and not be so much in people-pleasing energy from your inner child. We don't want to be people-pleasing. We don't want to be abandoning what is true for ourselves for the sake of somebody else within reason. We definitely want to do that for our children. Maybe we want to do that if someone is sick or injured, but we're not doing it on a regular basis just to maintain status quo. All right, your north node, if you are if you are an earth north node, if you're in Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. I've already talked about Virgo and Capricorn. The Taurus, I haven't been talking to you so much. The Taurus, you guys are steady. You guys are like on the right path. And I'm really only talking about more in-depthly things that we have the big planetary transits that people might be feeling a little bit more oomph to their inner work. So I don't mean to be excluding you, Taurus. So the transformational path is from external validation and chaos to self-worth, mastery, and unstoppable success. And I got to tell you, my mom is a Taurus. Her sun sign is a Taurus. And her north node, I can't think of her north node right now. But you know what? My mom has this down pat. We have a big, beautiful house. She is self-mastered from 5 years old. She's incredible. And so that is going to be a really incredible thing for a Taurus to be able to embody more and more of. If you are air, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, Gemini and Aquarius, I've talked about you before. Libra, this is so cool because Libra is, we just left the South Node in Libra in 2024. Well, technically, we left it in 2025. And Libra is my moon sign, and I have a whole bunch of planets in Libra, and Libra is duality. And so this is really interesting for you to be going into duality. And for me, when I see a Libra placement, I didn't mention this on the other slides, but for going towards Libra, the scales is actually war. And as we are going through a shift in society, you guys are the power. Like you guys are going head first into this like dueling energy of like what's old and what wants to stay because nothing wants to die and what is going to come into fruition. And so for you to be navigating this time within your own personal astrology is really incredible. So from stubbornness and fear of change to flexibility, social magnetism, and authentic expression. So it's like for me with these placements, Gemini and Aquarius, that we have the big planetary transits going into those, and we left recently Libra. It's like Libra in the South Node recently as a collective. It's like, wow, you guys, like you guys are here for the show. Like you guys are like our big leaders for the next civilization. And so I think that's really incredible that that's your North Node and that's what you get to embody this lifetime. If you're a water, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, Cancer, you spent a lot of time with Pluto. Scorpio, you are like you are the depths of knowledge. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And the Pisces placement as well, with mysticism and the Scorpio and Pisces are both kind of like in the underworld. And so this is really incredible because as the energy shifts, we're going to see more and more of the underbelly of how things have been operating below the surface and what are the things that need to be changed. And so for that to be your North Node, it's really incredible for you to let go of control and the emotional suppression, which is like exactly what inner child wounds do. We become controlling perfectionists because we're trying to suppress these feelings. We're trying not to experience them. And so for this to be your North Node, it's absolutely incredible. So you're going to be able to embody deep trust, spiritual embodiment, and be in full surrender. And surrender, when you have a polarized dynamic of masculine and feminine energy, the masculine doing and the feminine receiving, if you have structure in place on a masculine level, then you can surrender into your body. You can surrender into the process. You can surrender your emotions. You don't have to be, holding up so many shields and swords and protecting yourself all the time. So that's going to be a really incredible evolution for you. Okay, and then the North Node portals of rebirth through the houses. My North Node is in the fourth house, the healed heart and rooted queen. Like, duh, obvious, isn't it? So obvious. So you are going to see, like, oh my God, I'm amazing. It's going to be so much fun. In summary, your North Node is your superpower. This is where we're directing your energy. All the other stuff is helping us unpack the energy and transmute it. Effortless magnetism, self love, and purpose. Your trauma wasn't your punishment, it was your initiation into radiance. You want to be smoke show hot. It means you want to be magnetically radiant as a feminine being. And so this is going to allow you to become that so that you be the person that embodies the smoke show hot body, that you become smoke show hot, literally, legitimately from the inside out. So, what is your North Node? My North Node is Cancer, the divine nurturer, the fourth house, the healed heart and rooted queen. Leading with heart, feeling safe in your emotions, receiving love. The reframe, feeling grounded. Feeling ungrounded wasn't failure, it was your soul learning to create home within. Oh man, I mean, this is just like so much of how I have been feeling. And even like noticing that like I live with my mom, which I used to be so ashamed of, but now I'm like, wow, this is really incredible. Because we have a good relationship and we've gone through a lot. We've done a lot of inner work together to where we really see like how generational trauma gets passed down. And we've just done a lot of work together. It's been really incredible. And then ironically enough, our rising sign and our moon signs are opposite. And so that gave me a lot of context to understand why I could not be like her. And I had a lot of issues for a while not living up to what I thought I should be because of what she was able to do at different ages and stages of her life that I have not been able to do. And so when I got more into understanding myself. And then when I started to include the astrology, I was like, of course, this all makes sense. And because I have felt so disconnected from people and so repulsed by family and home, when I saw this North Node, I was like, this makes so much sense. This makes so much sense for the experiences that I had because if I didn't have those experiences, I would not have the urge to grow. Then there would be no evolution of my soul. So it's really incredible for us to get this more of an objective look at our subjective emotions and experiences so that we can heal and be more sustainable with our goals. Your South Node is so awesome because the South Node is really where we're going to be able to extract our wisdom. And some people will feel like this is something that holds them back, but it really is something that is giving us like a foundational level to move forward with, especially with going towards our North Node, because the contrast is so sharp. So, what is your South Node? It's the well of past life mastery and deeply ingrained patterns. It's familiar, comfortable, and effortless, but can become a safety net that limits your growth. It holds your natural talents, wisdom, and strengths, but relying on it alone can keep you stuck in cycles of overuse and stagnation. But when you alchemize it, it becomes the foundation for your North Node expansion, supporting your soul's evolution rather than it holding you back. And when we're looking at reframing the karmic trauma, this is from past lifetimes. And so the North Node is where you're going in this lifetime. So this becomes the thing that really helps you understand how you can evolve into who you signed up to be in this time of this physical existence that you're having right now. When you're able to integrate your South Node, it is next level magnetism because you are taking all of your consciousness through all of the experiences that you have ever had into this body that you have now, so that the expansion of your soul can really be exponential. And then again, being alive during the revolutionary transits, when we get to create a new society, this is even more potent to work with. So we're going to go through the elements. So we're going to start with the fire signs: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You guys are the natural born trailblazers. So you're moving from impulsive self-reliance into empowered leadership through balance and awareness. You have more in-depth information again in the Word document so that you can go through each and every single sign to see how that is going to be personally affecting you. And so when you embody this, you're going to get so hot because you're able to channel your passion, your courage, and your fire into something greater than yourself, which is clearly so amazing for this time that we are alive. If you are an Earth South node, you are the grounded master. This is our Taurus, our Virgo, our Capricorn, from comfort and structure to mastery of flexibility and emotional depth. So, my South node, as I shared with you, is in Capricorn. And I find this so useful because what I do and how I work with this is I create amazing structure in my life. Like, I even have a routine when I get to the office that when I go into the bathroom has linoleum floor, everywhere else has carpet. So we keep a little dog food and water dish in the bathroom, and we always bring a dog to work. We've got 3 dogs, and they each take turns coming to work. So when I go into the office, the first thing I do is go into the bathroom and fill up their food and their water dish. And then we have a cabinet that we keep closed because it's in the bathroom that we dry our dishes. So when we wash our dishes, we put them in this cabinet that has a draining rack, and we keep it closed because it's in the bathroom. So when I fill up the dog dishes, then I empty the clean dishes, put them into another area that we call the kitchen that has a microwave and our water cooler, and where we have all of our shelving for our eating utensils. So that helps us stay organized. And so I have figured out how I have specific patterns to keep my life kind of humming along so that things don't build up. And so it works really well. And then what happens is I'm able to have fluidity within whatever else it is that I want to do so that I can have the flexibility. And so this also goes with emotional regulation. So it's like I have certain checkpoints that I have emotionally to check in with myself so that I can allow myself to process. Like I have things that I know that I'm checking the box for my own alignment. So that way, when there is something kind of weird coming up, I'm like, have I done all my things? Did I miss anything? Or because I have these things, how can I check and balance what I am feeling emotionally right now against my structure? Where can I use my structure to pick out what might be coming up for me? And so that's just an example of how I work with the wisdom of my South Node. And that's something that you're going to be able to do as well. All right. So if you are an air sign with your South Node, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, you are the intuitive thinkers. You are so needed. This knowledge is so needed right now because the revolutionary planets are moving into air and fire signs. You are going to be the person who grounds the new intelligence for the new society. So whatever is part of you from these other lifetimes that you've had, now is the time to really integrate it so that you can move forward and you can help us move forward. So you're going from mental mastery into the embodiment of deeper wisdom and emotional intelligence. This is how we keep our humanity. So you guys are a very powerful force that is going to be so helpful for all of us. Your water, if you're a water South node, your Cancer, your Scorpio, your Pisces, you're the emotional alchemist. So you're going to go from emotional intensity into grounded empowerment and self leadership. And this is so important because if you spent a lot of times being like super in the depths, super watery, super emotionally, quote unquote, unstable, where you kind of like aren't able to get a lot of stuff done because maybe the emotions are so overwhelming, now is the time, especially with these revolutionary transits of fire and air, that you are going to be the person who's going to ground it for yourself, that you're going to be your own mom, you're going to be your own dad, you're going to be able to empower yourself by these actions that you're taking with your eating and exercise. So then whatever it is that you want beyond your body, you're going to be able to be that person to handle all of that. Because whatever it is that you want to do in this lifetime, you have to be able to be strong enough to handle all of the emotions that are going to go with it, all of the ups and downs. So this is a really incredible time for you as well. Your South Node portals of rebirth through the houses. So this is where you get to put on another archetypal hat. My South Node is in the 10th house. So this is the unshakable CEO. clearly. This is going to be the most amazing signature offer business wise that you've ever seen in the fitness and the energetic space, and how everything I have structured so that you have the information from eating and exercise to your energy and your breath work to then aligning yourself with your very own energy. This entire system is done for you in a container, right? In the classroom. So you have all of these modules to understand, then to like get the overview of the understanding so that you have the training as if you and I were having a one-on-one conversation. Then you have the Word document so that you can go specifically of what is uniquely applied to you. So then when you come to the group coaching call or you go to your private coaching call, now we really have a deeper conversation to work through things faster versus me telling you something one at a time. And then also if you're in the group container, you're getting all of the in-depth information as if you were one-on-one, but without the big price point. And being with a group of people, now you're actually practicing being collaborative to grow the next civilization. So I have utilized up until this point my south node, and it's only going to get better because this is going to expand bigger and bigger because I have such a vision, such a big vision for what we can create in the next society. So really get excited about how you're going to be able to use the south node houses as your foundation for what you want to create. So the South Node is your ultimate hotness in your soul alignment. So your South Node is a strength, not a weakness. When you embody it, you are consciously integrating all aspects of yourself from all lifetimes. You're not rejecting any aspect of yourself. And you know, that's one of the key things for our magnetism, that we cannot abandon parts of ourself. When we master the shadow side of the South Node, it creates alignment with the North Node expansion. So as me, the Capricorn, overworking, suppressing emotions, prioritizing career over fulfillment, when um um I've mastered that, right? Like we know that that already exists. So whenever I feel the sense that I'm overworking, whenever I feel like I'm not expressing myself or I'm not allowing myself to have whatever emotion it is, that's when I know I'm out of alignment. And if I pick doing things, especially with like social media, that are prioritizing just money for the sake of money over the actual fulfillment of what I came here to do, I know that's also a trigger for me to integrate and move into my North Node and really figure out what is important for me. So this is where you're really going to be able to grow. Another thing I want to say about the glow up, you're also going to have that in your Word document of how you're going to use your South Node to create your glow up for your North Node. Being the heart-centered leader, integrating emotional intelligence and create impact with alignment. With the Capricorn placement, this has a lot to do with politics and diplomacy and being an isolated leadership where you don't have a connection with people. And so I know any time that I start to isolate myself, I'm not leading. Anytime I feel that somebody should be thinking the way I think, somebody should be acting the way I think they should be act, that's also my integration or my awareness to know that I'm not integrating emotional intelligence, that I'm not living by my beliefs, that the planet is a place for each person to express their own consciousness and to have the experience of life. So I know when I'm tilting towards Capricorn and wanting to have leadership in the way that people are following and self-abandoning themselves, or I'm judging them for not doing it my way, that's when I know I'm not in my North Node of Cancer. And so this is going to be something that you're going to build on, and you're going to be able to integrate more and more and be able to sense this about yourself, just like you're sensing something about yourself with your eating, with your sabotage, with your exercise and your sabotage, where you're wanting to undo progress or you're not wanting to follow through. You're going to have those triggers for you in your eating and exercise to know when you're out of alignment. And then you're also going to be able to notice it with the bigger picture of what it is that you're creating in your life. And knowing this stuff about your North and South Node is also going to help you discern energy of triggers that you're going to want to sabotage, or activations where you're like, oh my gosh, I just learned something new about myself. Okay, I am going to take my camera off for a moment. So screenshot this, because this is where you are going to fill in your information about your Lilith, Chiron, North Node, and South Node. So that way, when you are working on your eating and exercise and you feel resistance towards them, you can refer to this paper to see what might be out of alignment in general that you're experiencing through your eating, your exercise, and your food and your body image, the reflection that you see in the mirror, because that energy is already in you, it's active, but you're experiencing it through your body or through your habits because that's where you are focused slash attached to. You're attached to the eating and the exercise for the outcome of your dream body. And you're focused on your body because you want it to change, right? You want it to get its smoke show hot. So the energy is already in you. It's just that you're experiencing through the smoke show hot dream body because that's where you're focused or that's where you're attached. So you're going to take a screenshot of this so that you can have it at a moment's notice when you are feeling resistance, where you're feeling defeated, where you're feeling disempowered, where you might be doing everything correct, but your body's not changing. You can refer to this so that you can make some changes. So I'm going to turn my camera on, and in the next slide, I'm going to show you your next step. I want you to write in, either in pen or if like you want to type it out, copy and paste from the Word document, I am statements from the Google Docs that give you more in-depth information about your Lilith, Chiron, and your North and South node. The I am statement allows us to grow into our potential. And it also triggers resistance. It triggers the contrast. So you may have heard people knock doing I am statements and mantras because they're like, they don't work because your subconscious knows you're lying. That's true. But what they're not doing is unpacking the subconscious lie. So now we have a framework to say, in my Lilith, I am the untamed wanderer, transcending cultural and religious shame, living in full-bodied freedom. Okay, so if I am feeling, if I'm not feeling good, if I'm repressing an aspect of myself, then here it is. Where am I not transcending culture? Where am I conforming to a societal structure? Where am I afraid to be my true self? And then with Chiron, I am the magnetic manifester, reclaiming pleasure, deep trust in body wisdom, learning to receive nourishment. Where am I not receiving? Where am I not feeling good enough to receive anything like support, money, whatever, compliments? Where am I not trusting my intuition when a red flag comes up? Am I judging myself, or am I honoring it? So that gives me that framework. For the North Node, I am the divine nurturer, leading with love, leading with heart, feeling safe in your emotions, receiving love. Okay, well, where am I not feeling safe with my intuition? Where am I not receiving love? Where am I pushing connection away? Where am I not loving myself? And then my South Node, I'm the unshakable CEO who can work hard, has leadership discipline, and is success driven. Okay, well, where am I? Like, if I, like for this one, a lot of times, if I'm not feeling that something's working, I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing all this work and nothing's working. I'm like, wait a minute, no. I'm doing all of this work. I'm checking all the boxes. I'm doing exactly what I need to do. All I need is time for it to manifest. Slash, all I need is to remember that I'm connected to everything, and the transits that are happening in the sky are also going to affect me. So there's divine timing of the cosmos of what is meant to be. There is human timing that things need time to evolve, just like you can't starve yourself in one day and lose 10 pounds. You need time for that transition. And then there's also the structure of actually being consistent with the habits. So these I am statements are ways for you to practice being that person if you're saying these I am statements all the time, because your I am, whatever comes after I am, that's what you're claiming you are. And that's the fulfillment of being a conscious being, of having the human experience, of your soul having the human experience. So this is absolutely incredible that you can grow into this with your I am statements, and you can also allow it to show you the contrast and where you might be out of alignment so that you can transmute that energy, you can balance it.